What happens when Hollywood's most controversial wellness mogul sits down across from daytime television's most outspoken skeptic? Today, we're revisiting one of the most explosive moments in talk, show history, an interview that began as routine celebrity promotion and spiraled into a blistering on-air confrontation that stunned viewers and ended with a furious walk-off. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment, because what unfolded next left the studio reeling. Gwyneth Paltrow glided onto the View set that Tuesday morning with her signature calm. Dressed in a cream-colored blazer that seemed to glow beneath the studio lights. The audience greeted her with warm applause as she settled into the guest chair, her serene smile radiating the kind of confidence cultivated through years of meditation retreats and luxury wellness living. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed her with genuine warmth. "Gwyneth, it's always such a pleasure to have you here. You look radiant, as always." "Thank you so much, Whoopi. I'm thrilled to be back," Gwyneth replied, her voice carrying that familiar blend of Hollywood polish and wellness guru certainty, an aura that had earned her both devoted followers and relentless critics. Sarah Haynes leaned forward eagerly. "So tell us about your latest Goop venture. I hear you're expanding into some pretty innovative territory." Gwyneth's eyes lit up. "We are, Sarah. We're really pushing the boundaries of what wellness can mean in people's lives. We've just launched a new line of frequency-enhanced water, restructured at the molecular level to optimize cellular hydration." "That sounds fascinating," Sunny Hostin chimed in. "How exactly does that work?" "It's based on cutting-edge research into water memory and vibrational healing," Gwyneth explained smoothly. "The water molecules are exposed to specific sound frequencies that amplify their natural healing properties." She spoke with complete conviction, like someone who believed every word. But across the table, Joy Behar had been silent, arms crossed, lips pressed tight. Her expression radiated barely contained disbelief. Finally, she snapped. "Oh, come on," Joy cut in, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Frequency-enhanced water. Are you seriously sitting here trying to sell people overpriced water based on pseudoscience?" The studio atmosphere shifted instantly. Gwyneth's serene expression wavered, but only for a moment. "Joy, I understand that some people are skeptical of alternative approaches to health and wellness." "Skeptical?" Joy shot back, leaning forward. "I'm not skeptical, I'm rational. You're trying to convince people that water has memory. That's not alternative medicine. That's a fairy tale." Whoopi attempted to intervene. "Joy, let's keep this respectful." But Joy was just getting started. "Respectful? She's charging people hundreds of dollars for water she claims has magical properties. How is that not a scam?" A faint flush crept into Gwyneth's cheeks, though her tone remained measured. "I think you're mischaracterizing what we do. Goop is about empowering people to explore what works for their own bodies and minds. No one is forced to buy anything. Empowering." Joy scoffed. "You're exploiting vulnerable people desperate for answers. You take advantage of their trust and sell them overpriced nonsense with zero scientific backing." The other hosts exchanged uneasy glances as the tension escalated. Sarah tried to steer things elsewhere. "Maybe we could talk about your acting projects?" "No," Joy interrupted. "This matters." She turned directly to Gwyneth. "You have influence. You have a platform. And you use it to promote products that could actually harm people. Remember the jade egg fiasco? The FDA had to step in because your company was making medical claims about a stone women were told to insert into their bodies." Gwyneth's calm facade began to crack. That situation was blown wildly out of proportion. The jade egg is an ancient practice many women find beneficial for pelvic floor health. "Ancient?" Joy laughed bitterly. "So was bloodletting. Should we bring that back too?" "That's a ridiculous comparison," Gwyneth snapped, her voice losing its ethereal calm. "Is it?" Joy pressed on relentlessly. "You promote vaginal steaming that doctors say causes infections. Supplements that dangerously interact with prescription drugs. You imply people can heal serious diseases with positive thinking and overpriced smoothies." "I have never told anyone to abandon conventional medicine," Gwyneth protested, her composure slipping. "Not directly," Joy replied. "But you absolutely imply it. You paint Western medicine as corrupt, and your luxury alternatives as pure, natural, and superior. You prey on people's distrust of the medical system. Sunny attempted to step in, trying to cool the room, but Joy wasn't done. What I'm saying is simple, she said firmly. Gwyneth Paltrow built a wellness empire by misleading women, charging premium prices for products that range from useless to potentially dangerous. The studio fell silent, and that silence said everything. The studio audience had fallen into complete silence, sensing this had gone far beyond the usual daytime television sparring. Gwyneth's hands trembled visibly now, her carefully curated composure hanging by a thread. That is completely unfair, Gwyneth said, her voice taut with restrained anger. You're attacking me personally instead of engaging with the actual science behind what we do. What science? Joy fired back without hesitation. Show me one peer-reviewed study proving your frequency, enhanced water works. Show me clinical trials for your energy healing patches. Show me any legitimate research supporting 90% of what Goop sells. Gwyneth opened her mouth to respond, but Joy plowed ahead. You can't, because it doesn't exist. You hide behind phrases like ancient wisdom and alternative healing, but what you're really doing is exploiting people who are struggling with their health and their self-esteem. That is absolutely not true. Gwyneth snapped, her voice rising for the first time. Goop has helped millions of women feel empowered about their health and wellness choices. Empowered to waste their money on snake oil. Joy shot back instantly. Whoopi tried desperately to regain control. Ladies, let's take a breath and try to keep this constructive. But it was too late. Gwyneth's zen-like persona had completely evaporated, replaced by raw indignation, the kind that comes from someone who truly believes they're being unfairly attacked. I came here today as a guest, Gwyneth said, her voice trembling with barely contained fury, to talk about my work and my passion for helping people live healthier lives. Instead, you've ambushed me with character assassination based on misinformation and deliberate misrepresentation of what Goop actually does. Joy leaned back in her chair, a faint, satisfied smirk crossing her face. Ambushed you? This is called journalism, Gwyneth. These are legitimate questions about business practices that affect real people. Journalism? Gwyneth scoffed, her voice cracking. You call this journalism? You haven't asked a single genuine question. All you've done is attack me using tabloid headlines and internet conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. Joy's eyes flashed. FDA warnings are conspiracy theories. Lawsuits from customers harmed by following your advice are conspiracy theories. Medical professionals who've spoken out against your dangerous recommendations, are they all in on it, too? Sarah Haynes glanced desperately toward the producer's off-camera, silently pleading for someone to step in. But Gwyneth was past the point of polite redirection. You want to talk about harm? Gwyneth shot back. Let's talk about the harm you're causing right now, spreading lies on national television about a company that employs hundreds of people and has helped countless individuals on their wellness journeys. Wellness journeys? Joy practically spat. You mean expensive shopping sprees for products that don't work? Your customers aren't on journeys. They're being taken for a ride by a celebrity who thinks her fame gives her the right to play doctor. The color drained from Gwyneth's face. How dare you suggest I'm playing doctor? I have never claimed to be a medical professional. Goop clearly states that our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Oh, please, Joy rolled her eyes. You hide behind legal disclaimers while your marketing is packed with testimonials about miracle cures and life-changing transformations. You know exactly what you're implying. Sunny tried once more to intervene. I think there's room for both conventional medicine and alternative approaches. No? Joy snapped, turning sharply toward her co-host. There is no room for dangerous misinformation dressed up as wellness. When Gwyneth tells women they can balance their hormones with $1,000 necklace, that's not an alternative approach. That's fraud. I have never sold $1,000 hormone balancing necklace, Gwyneth protested, her voice rising dangerously close to a shout. Maybe not in those exact words. Joy shot back. But you've sold crystal jewelry for hundreds of dollars with claims about energy alignment and chakra balancing. What's the difference? The difference, Gwyneth said sharply, is that you're deliberately twisting everything I say and everything Goop represents. You've made up your mind to tear me down. Facts be damned. Facts. Joy laughed coldly. Here's a fact: your company has paid multiple settlements for false advertising. Here's another: the California Food, Drug, and Medical Device Task Force cited Goop for making unsubstantiated health claims. Those aren't opinions, Gwyneth. They're documented facts. Gwyneth's hands shook as she gripped the arms of her chair. Those settlements were made to avoid costly litigation, not because we admitted wrongdoing, and the California issue was a misunderstanding that was resolved amicably. A misunderstanding, Joy repeated flatly, and the room froze once again. Joy's voice dripped with contempt. You were caught red-handed making medical claims about unregulated supplements, and you call that a misunderstanding? How convenient. Joy, you're being incredibly unfair, Gwyneth said, her voice now openly emotional. You're twisting everything I say? I'm not twisting anything, Joy replied coldly. I'm repeating your own marketing back to you. You're the one who sold a so-called psychic vampire repellent to protect people from negative energy. You're the one who promoted the idea that bras cause cancer. You're the one who pushed coffee enemas as a detox cure. I never said bras cause cancer, Gwyneth protested weakly. Your website published an article suggesting underwire bras could increase breast cancer risk. Joy shot back instantly. Don't gaslight me, and don't gaslight the audience. Whoopi made one final attempt at damage control. Let's agree to disagree and move on to something lighter. No, Joy cut in sharply. This is too important. This woman has built a multi-million-dollar empire by exploiting women's insecurities and health fears. She deserves to be held accountable for the damage she's done. Gwyneth's voice dropped to a near whisper, but the fury behind it was unmistakable. What damage, Joy? What specific damage have I done? Name one person harmed by Goop's recommendations. Joy didn't hesitate. How about the women who suffered burns from your yoni steaming treatments? How about customers who delayed real medical care because they believed your supplements would cure serious illnesses? How about the people who went into debt buying your overpriced placebos instead of investing in actual health care? You're making that up, Gwyneth said, but even she sounded unsure. Am I? Joy leaned forward, her tone turning ominous. Because I can cite cases, names, medical records, if you really want to go there. The studio fell so silent that Gwyneth's rapid breathing was audible. Her flawless makeup showed cracks under the pressure, and her hands clenched tightly in her lap, knuckles white. This is unbelievable, Gwyneth finally said. I came here to talk about my work, and instead I'm being subjected to a trial by a television host who clearly has a personal vendetta against me. Joy's expression hardened even further. Personal vendetta? Gwyneth? I don't know you, and I don't care about you, personally. What I care about is protecting vulnerable people from predators who use celebrity status to sell false hope. The word predators detonated in the air. Gwyneth's face drained of color. For a moment, it looked like she might actually collapse on live television. Predators, she whispered. Did you just call me a predator? Joy didn't flinch. If the shoe fits. What else do you call someone who targets vulnerable women and sells them empty promises at premium prices? I cannot believe what I'm hearing, Gwyneth murmured, shaking her head. You're calling me a predator on national television because I run a wellness company. I'm calling you what you are, Joy replied flatly. A celebrity who has monetized women's desperation and insecurity. You profit off their struggles with health, weight, and self-worth, selling expensive placebos while implying that conventional medicine is corrupt or inferior. Gwyneth's breathing grew shallow and erratic. You have no idea how many letters I receive from women thanking me. Women whose lives have genuinely improved. Oh, I'm sure you get testimonials, Joy waved dismissively. That's how con artists operate. Anecdotes and emotional manipulation instead of scientific proof. Con artist. Gwyneth's voice cracked completely. You just called me a con artist on live television. Sarah Haynes like she wanted to disappear beneath the table. Maybe we should go to a commercial. No, Joy said firmly. We're having an important conversation. And if you don't like being called a con artist, then stop acting like one. Stop selling products you know don't work. Stop making claims you can't prove. I'm not making claims I can't prove, Gwyneth sobbed openly now. Everything we sell is based on research and traditional healing practices used for centuries. Traditional healing practices. Joy snapped back, like recommending jade eggs be inserted into women's bodies to balance their Q. Traditional healing does not include shoving rocks into reproductive organs. That's not what we said, Gwyneth cried. You're deliberately misrepresenting everything. I'm quoting your own website, Joy fired back. Your own words. And if hearing them repeated sounds dangerous or ridiculous, maybe that tells you something. Whoopi tried one last time, her voice strained. Ladies, this has gone far beyond heated. Let's try to find some common ground. But Joy wasn't finished. Not even close. Common ground? Joy snapped. Whoopi? There is no common ground between evidence-based medicine and whatever fantasy world Gwyneth is living in. She's sitting here defending psychic vampire repellent spray. How do you find common ground with that level of delusion? That was the final straw. Gwyneth shot up from her chair so abruptly it nearly tipped backward. Delusion. She shot back. You want to talk about delusion, Joy? The real delusion is thinking you can sit here and destroy someone's reputation and livelihood based on nothing but your own ignorance and prejudice. Ignorance. Joy stood as well, facing her across the coffee table. I've done my homework, Gwyneth. I've read the research. I've spoken to doctors. I've studied your company's track record. You're the one ignoring reality. If you think you can keep calling my life's work a scam, Gwyneth's voice rose to a near shriek. A scam, she cried. How dare you? How absolutely dare you sit there and dismiss everything I've built? I've helped millions of people explore wellness options that work for them. You've helped millions waste their money. Joy fired back instantly. You've helped people delay real medical care. You've helped convince them their illnesses are their fault, for not thinking positively enough, or for not buying the right crystal. Tears streamed down Gwyneth's face now, streaking her carefully applied makeup. I am done, she said, her voice breaking. This is not an interview. This is a public execution, and I will not sit here while you destroy my reputation with lies and misrepresentation. Then leave, Joy said coldly. But don't pretend you're the victim. The real victims are the women who trusted you and got hurt. Gwyneth looked around the table, searching desperately for support. She found only silence. Even Whoopi had stopped trying to intervene. This is unbelievable, Gwyneth whispered. I came here as a guest, and I'm being treated like a criminal. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm not ashamed of anything, Joy replied evenly. I'm proud to ask the questions others are too polite or too starstruck to ask. Someone has to hold you accountable. Gwyneth grabbed her purse from the floor, her movements sharp and furious. This is supposed to be a talk show, not a courtroom. You have no interest in a real conversation. Running away. Joy called out as Gwyneth headed toward the edge of the set. That's pretty typical for someone who can't defend their actions. Gwyneth spun around one last time, mascara streaked across her cheeks. I'm not running away. I'm walking away from a bully who's decided to use her platform to destroy someone she's never tried to understand. I understand you perfectly, Joy replied. Delivering the final blow? You're a privileged celebrity who thinks fame gives her the right to gamble with other people's health. And when someone finally calls you out, you can't handle the truth. Without another word, Gwyneth turned and walked off the set. The studio fell into stunned silence. The camera lingered on the now empty guest chair for several long seconds, capturing the shock rippling through the room, before finally cutting to commercial. It was one of the most brutal confrontations daytime television had ever seen. What do you think? Was Joy Behar justified in pushing that hard? Or did she cross the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more explosive celebrity clashes and behind the scenes drama you won't see anywhere else.